Welcome, welcome.
Plunky, 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 plunky. That music puts me to sleep. Not compared to
I know. I
the
was thinking of
sirens and noises and stuff.
Yeah.
Someday
It's like
I've got that other
everybody take
music.
just a chill
I need-
before we start the AMA.
I need to get the license to the music that we used for the Flutter EU promo, and then I can then put that on the
that would do it.
stream. So,
That would do it.
Actually, on that point, we do have a Patreon, so please help out. That helps pay for StreamYard and the various tools that we use to do this stream and other community stuff. So hopefully, feel free to help us out there. Feel free to message on there as well. Patreon.com/FlutterCommunity.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've got that one out there.
And we're going to answer your first question right away first, which is no, we're going to be talking about that on the AI show. This is not the AI show on Monday. So, yeah.
there's a lot to talk about. Anyways, a lot's happening.
Oh, tons of AI stuff and tons of other stuff on Flutter. Yes, definitely. We should probably introduce ourselves and read the rules.
Yeah, let's do some introductions.
Yes.
My name's Simon Lightfoot, Flutter Community Leader, CTO at Dev Angels London, and you can follow me on Twitter and other places at Dev Angels London. Randall.
I'm Randall Schwartz. I'm a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert. Actually, I don't need to say that anymore. It's now just one category, Flutter. Everybody there was two people who were Dart but not Flutter. Now they've inherited Flutter as part of their game. Anyway, so what that means is I get to spend a lot of time answering all y'all's questions on various social media like Stack Overflow and Reddit and the Discords and Slacks, all those kind of cool places. If I see a question, I usually try to answer it if I can. But for this show in particular, I have a role in that I am the question magician, which means I am watching the live chat on YouTube. Also, I think I can get it on the other one as well. And if you have a question, put Q: in front of your question, and I will flag that to bring up in time, in sequence. So be patient. Sometimes it takes half hour to almost an hour sometimes to get to the question that you asked. So be patient and don't ask it again twice or you lose your place in line.
We kind of jumped into the do's and don'ts, but Daniel and John can't be with us. But we do have Kaylee. Kaylee.
Hello. I'm Kaylee. I'm CEO at Checks on Me, building Flutter on the front end and Dart on the back end. But most importantly, I'm a Flutterista. Flutterista is for women and non-binary Flutter enthusiasts. So come check us out if you fit into that category.
I've lost my links.
Flutteristas.org. Flutteristas.org.
Oh, there's my there we go.
Worst thing.
There you go. Better late than never. There you go.
Yes.
Flutteristas.org, everyone. Yeah, and then well, I mean, we've kind of alluded to the do's and don'ts, so I think we can probably just quickly jump into these briefly. Be nice, be constructive. Don't do anything rude or offensive. Don't promote anything. You won't be able to anyway. If you post a link, the whole message doesn't come through. So don't spam and don't spam your questions again and again because they won't come through. Because we'll just ban you. Yeah, there you go. And also, yeah, if it's the same question, you go to the bottom of the queue. So get your questions in once. We'll eventually get to everything. And then harassment of any time is not tolerated. You'll be blocked. And the key thing is have a good time. We want you to have a good time. And we'll get all your questions answered and have fun. So there you go. Is that the second time ever I've done the do's and don'ts? There you go.
I think so. Right. I don't remember. Actually, I don't recall a prior time. So that was definitely.
It was some time ago. Yes.
Yes. Must be. Yes.
Crazy day today. Crazy day. How is everyone doing?
Good.
I'm almost awake. I woke up like at 4. I hate that when I wake up at 4 because then it's like, how do I get back and to sleep enough before the alarm goes off to make it worth it? And it's like, well, maybe I should just get up at 4. No, that's too early. I'll be falling asleep at dinner time tonight, which as an old person, I resent. I do not want to sleep at dinner. That's just crazy. Anyway. I've rambled enough.
We didn't actually cover this, but I just want to briefly cover this. If you want to share code with us, we will do code reviews. We'll do all sorts of fun things, or any questions about code, you can go to just.new, pop in the description. Make sure your file ends in .dart so we get syntax highlighting. pop in your code or your questions or comment in there or whatever. It doesn't have to be public, but when you post it, what we need is the hash from the URL. So on 0.6, then you need to copy the hexadecimal string from the URL and pop that into your chat message. And again, if I say this, if you put a link, the whole message doesn't come through to us. So we're not missing your question, it's because we didn't get it. So, all right. Back to the usuals. Yeah, someone did mention in the chat, is it Frey? Sorry. Yeah, 338 too. We mentioned just before this we started the stream because, of course, we've had 2-point releases in very short order. And I think this kind of comes back to what I was saying before, which is there's not enough of us doing beta testing against the beta channel. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I hardly have I have all my production orders are pinned to various different versions of Flutter, and I just don't because I'm not using that latest version. I never test with the beta, right? I'll be honest with you, that's what I am with a lot of the projects that we're doing. And I mean, like, Katie, are you using the beta channel at all?
I'm not using the beta channel at all. I will say this, the 0.1 version was because they used the beta build for Dart in the release for the 0.0 version. So I'll give that one a little bit of a
I think and
for sure. Yeah.
Randall, you using the beta, like Flutter beta at all, the channel?
Rarely. Mostly it's just
it's
I was using
right?
it for a while. I was using it for a while when I wanted the Dart SDK MCP because it was only in the beta versions.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is as a community is just basically just tell ourselves that we need to spend that little bit amount of time checking it out, trying our code with it. And if we're seeing any problems, reporting them. Like, just try building our apps. Does it build? Does it run? Is there glitches? Are there problems? Because otherwise we kind of get this, like, we get all these point releases, and it's like, yeah, it's because we're not doing enough testing. And then people are like, why we'll get these complaints of why is Flutter so crap or whatever else? Why is it breaking all the time? And it's like, no, it's genuine. Like they were giving you the chance to, Flutter's giving you the chance to do the beta, but no one did it, right? This is where we are, and it's like testing in production. Like, everyone's doing it.
Well, I have the
production.
I have the advantage that I have a good Puro set up so that I can easily tag a project as running on the beta version or running on a pinned version for one of my clients or whatever. And Puro lets you do that. If you're familiar with FVM, it's like FVM, but a lot better and cheaper and faster. So Puro.
The problem I've got with it, not Puro, but doing that, is like, again, are you going to pin a version to beta? Because it's about something that you need to dip into and try, right? Because you can't guarantee, you can't build with it, you can't build a production release, so you can't build towards that not knowing it's ready.
Right, but it also makes it easy to switch back and forth within a project, because you can say
Pure. Sure. Yeah. I mean, any version.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Talking about the release, we got the release notes here. So why don't we have a quick nosy at these? Make them bigger. So what do we get here? So we had
338.1 was the mistake release. They fixed the mistake.
Did we go? I'm trying to remember. When did this get released again?
It was like last week.
Yeah,
338.0 got. We skipped last week's show, right? So actually, did we talk about this release at all?
No, not yet. Because it got released wrong, and they're looking into process problems about why it got released wrong. And that's actually happened twice in the last 6 months, where they don't pin the right version of Dart against the version of Flutter that needs to go out. And so hopefully they're looking into process to figure out what's going on.
We can just briefly. Sorry, it's up there. We could briefly could take a quick look through what's happened. So this is the big one for me. I've been wanting this for I don't know how long.
Yes,
it's always that. Just to have this syntax feels so much nicer than this all the time. I'm so used to typing this now, though, right? So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going back and forth on it and get mistaken for a time. But I do feel like this is just such a nicer syntax, right? Especially when, of course, you can only use that enum here, so it can only be a certain finite set of things. Like, you can understand that, like, it makes sense. This one I'm not too fond of, which is the static construct. Was it name factories or static? The name constructor, can be used as well. I get it, but equally, like, the problem here is unnamed constructor is .new, and if you've got a constructor take another name constructor, it kind of looks a bit funky. But yeah, each their own. Obviously, there are some I know there's some lint checks now for these, so you can do this. There's also a Dart fix for this to apply it everywhere. So you could start sort of updating your analysis options and everything if you're upgrading the version. And getting these, you can also turn this off and turn these on. So there's options between the two. What else do we have here? Web development configuration files. So when you get a new file in your repo for web development, there's no specify the host, port, certificate, and header information.
I'm excited on in particular, personally.
Yeah.
So one of the things
those were both demonstrated on last week's observable Flutter. So if you want to
I actually didn't get a chance to see that. Last week I was ill last week, everyone. So like, yeah, that didn't happen. I had like a migraine. So yeah, it didn't do anything on the computer. I think the only problem I've got, well, the thing I wanted, which they haven't put in here at the moment, which is a catch-all redirect. So if someone accesses a certain page, it serves off the index page, right? Which is something you can turn on inside of Firebase and things like that, like where it's just a flag. You say, okay, you rewrite the URLs so that they serve off the index page. It's quite often a lot of hosting providers do this, where you have one entry point and any URL can be served off by that entry point. So the problem here is on your local development, it doesn't work. But then in Firebase, it does work because of the way this web service operates differently. So it'd be nice to see that addition. If it doesn't already do it, they might have changed it for all I know since they did this. But I would expect them to make that option. But all this is very helpful, right? Oh, look. Actually, I've just lied. Look. So look, they've actually... Okay, so look, they didn't say it at the top in that list, but they actually have done it. Look, so you got basic configuration, host, port, certificate. You can do headers, and here are proxy configuration. So there you go. So you can say, okay, target, go to this address, and if the prefix is this address, right? So this is allowing that redirect nature I was talking about earlier. But actually, if you think about it, you should be able to do like a catch-all. So you can just redirect everything with a regex using one of these regex proxies. So that's interesting. But that would solve the problem.
Regexes solve almost every problem.
And then and if you specify the command line options that we've always been able to specify for host and port, which is needed for cores. And if you're doing website stuff with core support, you need to override the port. Then you've always been able to do it with the command, which have always been doing it. But now you can just use the web config. So that's quite nice because it means that anyone that checks out your repo is going to have the same settings and expectation. That's cool. It's pretty cool. What else we got?
One of the things I'm famous for in the Perl community is writing a single Perl regular expression that parses JSON into the object values.
I spoke to this makes it easier. Dynamic endpoints.
It's insane, but it works.
Hot reload on web. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, been using that.
You can use a feature temporarily disable using no experimental hot reload. Okay, so you can turn it off to see if your app's behaving any differently, if there's a bug in your app or in the hot reload functionality. Okay, cool. Framework, refinements, more granular control of advanced UI navigation, platform interactions, create pop-ups with floating. See, I like Overlay Portal. The idea that it just kind of gets you can use overlays, but without having to do a lot of the complex stuff that you have to do, like a lot of the boilerplate. However, one of the things I always want to do is if I'm going to use an overlay, I want it to like be aligned to some sort of anchor point.
Yeah.
And they've done it with, is it menu anchor? And you have menu pop up and they work together. But Overlay Portal does not have this option. And that kind of like means that every time I try and do an overlay, I've got to get a render box and calculate the thing. Or if I want to use a leader follower layer, then you have to size the following layer to be only the visible portion of the screen that's like linked to, which again is more like it's just stuff you always have to do. And it kind of just annoys me that it's not built in.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just moaning. I think I'm an old man moaning now.
3.10 really looks fun, so we'll check this out. Yes.
It is nice though that the if anyone hasn't used Overlay Portal, there's the child builder gives you the overlay dimensions and the child matrix so that you can actually do your calculations and position things without having to do sort of crazy stuff now. So it is better. So the back routing on Android is now on by default what's it called? Predictive back gesture stuff. So yeah. Now see we'll now see a preview of the home screen as the current route animations route animates away. In addition, the default page transition has been updated. Fade forwards page transition builder from zoom page transition builder to reflect the native behavior. So I kind of haven't looked at this, but I really like it if Flutter would detect the version of Android and use the appropriate default page transition for that version of Android, because they've changed it right over time. Like different versions of Android, there's different expectations, and I kind of feel like you can always just use the latest one. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of feel like if you want it to feel right with the system, and you kind of want it to be the same with everything else. Anyway, deepens desktop integration. On Windows, Developer can now access a list of connected displays and query the details about such resolution and physical site. This name, yeah. So basically, you can now access all that window information. You can present your pop-up, your actual windows in the certain places on the screen. This is kind of important. So on multi-desktop displays, let's say your app opens up on, or the user moves your app to maybe got 3 screens, they move it to the left screen. Then you want any pop-ups and dialogues to be popping up on that left screen and not in the user's like their center screen, right? And not in the user, which a lot of desktop apps get this wrong, where they're taking you into further content of the app, and rather than having that content centered around the main window of the application, they're opening up on some other screen, which this allows you, having this information allows you to make those determinations.
It's also annoying when you're doing a live stream and you've shared a screen, and then the things that are related aren't showing up on the same screen. They're showing up on different screens. Or worse, some other app you're running in a different screen now pops into your live screen, which is stupid. Yeah.
More resilient errors that occur on widget lifecycle callbacks are now handled more gracefully, preventing them from causing cascading failure of in the elementary. Oh, that's helpful. Resize image now correctly implements quality, which makes image caching and comparison more predictable by ensuring that identical image resize providers are treated the same. Resize image. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever used that out of the bag unless it's used under the hood for me. Resize image. Can we have a look?
Implements equality, huh?
Decoding of an image at the specified dimensions to its native size. Okay, so this allows final control of the image, and an image cache is generally used to reduce. I thought this was done automatically when you do an image and then you give it the width parameter. I thought that passed it over to the decode. I was pretty sure it did.
Maybe not.
The decoded image may still be displayed at sizes other than the cache size provided here. The width and height parameters determine the image resolution. These values are also set in the image's width and height in logical pixels if it's unconstrained. Interesting. It
sounds like this implies a internal cache, whereas if you just use image size with the width, it's going to compute at that one time.
I'm wondering if, I know sometimes if you have an image that's too big and you just try to make it smaller, it loses a lot in the translation there. I wonder if maybe that will help.
That what you're talking about there, like if you resize something, it loses something. That's actually something you can set on image. So there's actually a parameter for that. So those that had that problem, it's been a while. Where is it? Filter quality. That's all. So when an image, there you go, there's an example of it. When you resize an image down to lower resolutions, you need to specify a filter. This is how it resamples the image. obviously you want the kind of, you want the fastest way for the way you're doing something, for it to resample. You don't want to spend all your app's time resampling graphics all the time when they may look fine, right? So this is why you've got low, medium, high, and none. So you get like the various scale factors. Oh, you got high, medium, low, none. So this is actually
for web also. I feel like it's been, I don't know, a couple of months since I looked at this last myself too, but it was something specific with the web that was different. And it's not just Flutter. This was also you see this in Jasper as well.
You've got the web has resampling as well.
Yeah.
And in the web, there is actually a CSS parameter which you can toggle to change the resampling. Actually, no, I had some code that I wrote once upon a time. Let me see if I can find it. That actually had that same problem.
So the Fluttarista's website still has the same problem on the conference page with all the organizers. You can see it in the various photos. So the first time I saw the problem was there, and then experienced it myself later.
Here's something I made earlier, about 10 years ago, apparently.
Wow.
Funny how you remember these things, right? Actually, in here, where would I put it? Some CSS? No, apparently not. I'm damn sure it's in here somewhere. It was about filtering images. Image rendering. That's the one. Moz crisp edges, pixelated. Image rendering is the We look it up. Let's look it up. It's been a while.
Oh, it's that time of year where the
sun says the image scanning algorithm. The property applies to the element itself and other images and descending. There you go. Auto smooth, crisp edges, pixelated. So you can see the pixels on that. Crisp edges, smooth. I guess auto picks between the right one that it thinks. And you can also do inheriting and reverts. Well, there you go. So that by the way, that Crystal Caves is an old school DOS game that I started trying to recreate as a JavaScript. There you go. No. Oh, wait a minute. It's not loaded. It's loading another tab here. No? There you go.
Nice.
So this is got like multiple layers, you know, and stuff like that.
Love it.
Yeah. So, I remember wasting many hours on such games, and thank God I've gotten rid of that. Doing anything like that.
We've completely got off the topic here. How long we're going? Okay, we'll get onto the questions in just a minute, people. We're just going to have a quick zoom through the rest of this article before we jump onto questions.
Sure. And before we jump into questions, we also have to talk about FlutterCon USA. Dates got announced and all that too.
Okay.
Yes. Let's get to that. Okay. Do you have the page link? Because I need to find it. No, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Here it is. Got it.
Yeah, FlutterCon.
Got it. There you go.
Yeah.
FlutterCon USA is happening in Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
Next year, 16th and 17th of July. So it's a great excuse to go to Universal Studios or some other places around there as well. So I'll pop a link in the chat for anyone that wants to go get your tickets now. You know, get prepared, book that time off.
They haven't the call for papers yet, but I would expect that to be very soon.
So we're gonna have a lot, as in Flutter Europe. We've got the Unsolved Unconference and the Tech Lead Summit happening at the same time as well. So there's like almost three conferences in one here. Some really interesting stuff going on. and there's a lot of stuff happening. So yeah, there'll be some of the standard speakers. I don't know who that person is. So yeah,
keep sneaking in. Oh, who's that? Who's that?
It's that.
I guess they're expecting me to speak again. I guess I'm obligated now.
They're obviously that we're gonna once we've secured things, but there'll be some people that we're expecting to come along. So just saying. Hashtag just saying. Yeah. So Phil, still early days, but yeah, go take a look, and if you're interested,
put it on your calendar.
Sorry.
Put it on the calendar. Make
exactly. Right.
Indeed.
Wait.
Still going through this document.
RC Pro Ellipse that prevents render errors from radii that are larger than the widget itself. Ouch. Detecting the preferred locale. Oh, okay. And it now uses the web API to pass browser. Like it should have done that from the beginning. I don't know why that was. Yeah, I don't know why that was a thing. It was doing wrong before. Anyway, maybe the API wasn't stable or something. Anyway. Android specific bug has been resolved, primarily affecting Samsung devices and with hardware keyboards. After using interact with the text field, the Android input method could get stuck in a stale state. This causing the iMe to mistakenly insert enter or space key presses, preventing non-text widgets like checkbox and radio button from receiving the event. Interesting. Material could be term updates. Evolving focus on API consistency and partial experience. Release brings major API migration, new widget capabilities. Yeah, so again, it's this whole idea of like, let's break up. It's the same thing of deprecation of material state back to widget state, which we've been in for a while. It's that kind of migration from material specific widgets to having more generic widgets that we can build on top of. Oh, max count finally on the badges, so you get 99 plus. I literally just re-implement badge every time because of this. So it's nice to know that it's now implemented. I don't have to do that, right? Ink one now has on long press up. Helpful. Cupido sliding control is momentary.
How do you press up for a long time?
No, it's
long press.
You long press down, and it's when you release the long press. You never had that before. It's always like on long press has been actioned on long press tap, right? Polishing drop down menu form field. Credit clears text from when the form reset. It's nice to have all these kind of like we kind of gone through. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have new features, but what you really want is stability in the current one you have, right? So I think like it's the same with most products, right? You can't just keep generating feature, and leaving like a trail of destruction in your wake, right? You really need to like, and each time you release something, now this is the trend with any application, not even just the framework, but each time you release something, there's always a possibility that you're having some effect on the existing code or feature that is there. So, obviously we all need test cases, we all need proper testing, but it's that same sort of case of, if you just keep going like that, you're going to end up in a really bad place, and then you're going to get to the point where like, I have to rewrite everything, right? I think, and when you kind of come to this kind of a notion that we're seeing releases that have got a lot of bug fixes, a lot of stability changes, that is really helpful. That's really puts trust in Flutter as well, right? As well. Okay, and then we go.
Because every time you introduce a new feature, you also have a long tail of support that's going to have to happen on it. If it's comes in as a confirmed mature feature, then there's going to be a lot of support for all over time.
So we got some strategies here about the decoupling of the widgets we were just talking about. I'm kind of interested about text here, like decoupling text design. Like what?
That's interesting.
I know. I'm just like, I get some of the other ones, but what? Text selection UI and widgets layer and default out of the box experience. Yeah, I mean, selectable text, editable text, all the text-based widgets. Yeah, it is one of those difficult ones, right? But I think we've seen this before, where there's so many field parameters on an editable text, right? On like text form field, that it is really painful to work with them, right? Like you can't, like if you need to like make a app text field or something, right, that has the way that, let's say, I give an example here. I had this the other day. You have a text field. I want a label above every text field. The design calls for a label above every text field a certain way, not the material design input decorator way of putting like the border with like the animated label. No, they just want a label above the fields, right? Great. But now that means that every time I need to put a text field somewhere, I now need to wrap that in a widget that, maybe a column, whatever, with text in it. But now I have to forward on all the input parameters from my custom app text form field into the internal text form field just to get that wrapping behavior. And it doesn't feel right, if that kind of makes sense. Obviously, I could do make it like a wrap widget, which is just like text input label, and that just like wraps a child widget for the input form field. Fine. But then it's like, well, every time I'm using it, I'm also doing that. So it does feel like this is where this separation of material kind of helps, because if there's a base widget that is implemented on top, you can now implement that on top and wrap it and do what you expect, right? Yeah. Anyway, off on tangent. Right, back to our article, and then we'll get on to some questions. We got some few questions coming in, have we?
Yeah, I got about 6 so
Okay.
far.
Oh, we got more time. Well, we can fill up more time than that. So get your questions in, everyone. Come on.
Yeah, please do.
Right, scrolling more robust with predictable slivers, complex scrolling layouts, sliver main axis group, cross axis group, more predictable. Nice.
Predictable Slivers sounds like a good band name. We're the Predictable Slivers.
So someone's asking me how you can make like a stable scroll bar. So when you have content and as you scroll, the scroll bar might like change in size as you scroll.
Yeah.
And that's because it doesn't know how high your content is. So it's going to change its proportion based on that, right? So you've got one option. You either have a fixed height scroll bar, and as you scroll, then obviously the speed of your scroll will change because this is now a fixed ratio, or you or you have to pre-layout or predetermine how big your scrolling content is for the scroll bar to react right. I mean, it's one of those. It's like that's one of the reasons why when you have scrolling content on mobile now, you just don't have scroll bars, right? Because it just doesn't make sense. On desktop, however, that is a different thing. And on desktop, you obviously don't have the limitations that a mobile has in terms of performance and loading. So, but you don't really want to change your logic and behavior of your app to be different, I guess, on the two platforms.
I still find disappearing scroll bars. I still find disappearing scroll bars are difficult to manage for me because I'll be scrolling up and down, and I see, I'm about a third of the way down on the scroll bar. I really want to be about 2/3 of the way down. And by the time I move my mouse over to where the scroll bar is, the scroll bar disappears. It's like,
yeah, they should have what we don't have, at least on desktop at the moment, is that ability that when you move the mouse near the scroll bar, it appears, which is what should happen, right?
Oh, that would help. Yeah, I think.
Or it just gets in the way when you don't want it to be, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because it's like I have my Mac OS, not taskbar, whatever they call the apps live. I have that on my right-hand side of my screen because I'm closer to the right-hand side of the screen most of the time than I am to anywhere else on the screen. So I figured that's a good place for all my little tabs. And the problem with that is that every once in a while I want to go scroll or resize the thing that's sitting right at the edge of the screen. And so I go a little too far and the app bar pops up.
It's a very similar thing to when if you've got swipe back gestures on your phone, right? To navigate, and you go and you try and like I had this before. I tried to drag it was a video player, tried to drag the seat control, and then it goes back on the screen. You're like, why? And it's just because that the seat control hasn't been padded in enough to account for those things. We get them from the system, but the developer hasn't done that to account for that, right? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
And
Anyway,
another one I hate is when you have to navigate on a menu that has submenus, and you have to go exactly the right 3 pixels to get from the menu to the submenu. So it pops away.
Only websites have this problem where you click on it, you hover, and then you go diagonally to go to like the pop-up menu, and of course that goes into the background, like because it's underneath or something. So therefore, then it dismisses. So you have to go down and then across to get to the menu item, which is like what?
Very carefully, yes.
So anyway,
yeah.
So they've made some improvements to some of the other stuff around iOS as well.
This week's subtitle is going to be complaining about bad UX.
Okay.
Not that we don't do that almost every week, actually. I think we almost always have something we're griping about.
So for those that don't know, there's a new UI scene lifecycle that was announced by Apple that's going to be mandated. So you have to use this new thing for managing the lifecycle of your app, I guess. And now 3.3.8 supports that. So yeah. Yeah.
I'm up with the times.
Following iOS 26, any UIKit app built with the latest SDK will be required to use UI scene lifecycle. Otherwise, it will not get launched. Migrating Flutter apps. There you go. You can turn on the experimental feature or migrate it manually using the guide on the website. 16K page size. I think we mentioned this came up in a few questions before. So you can just take the output of your APK or your AAB and run it through. There's a inside of Android Studio, there's a menu item to test your app, and you just dump it in, then it'll test it. However, specifically, this version of Flutter has specifically prepared itself ready for this, so that's great. So if you're targeting 15 or higher, you've got to support 16 kilobyte RAM pages on the in the latest releases. So that's since I think it was the beginning of this month. Every release has to have this. So you could be using an older version of Flutter as long as your app still supports 16K pages. But all in all, I think it's probably better to make sure you recompile with the latest version, and specifically NDK version R28, which is what gives you that proper alignment and capability. Significant memory impacting all Flutter apps on Android. This was introduced in 3.29 and occurs when activities were destroyed upon exit, and configure the developer saying, or when activities were killed, but it's just low memory. So there's a memory leak happening there. That's interesting.
Do you have a link to that article?
Yeah. Sorry, they've run this. Yeah, I'll pop that in the chat. This is the standard Flutter Medium blog. There's also a Dart one. Let me grab the Dart one now. This is the latest Dart release notes as well. It's in the chat. What we got here? Android dependency updates. So yeah, they updated the AGP, or the Android Gradle plugin, and Kotlin Gradle plugin versions. So these are now the minimum of all various compatibilities. We discussed this again on a previous screen. You have to go to there's a page for AGP, and it'll give you the compatibility of Gradle and the Gradle plugin. But it's always good to use these particular versions now inside your Gradle script rather than overriding them, to guarantee that you're getting the correct versions. More performance overlays, Vulkan fixes, anything user unification. Well, that's interesting. So this might be interesting for you, Kaylee, right? So they've continued to unify Canvas Kit and SK WASM, right? So
yeah.
More consistent experiences and faster development in the future. That's helpful. Thread merging. You have the ability to opt out thread merging. Hey, the ability to opt out thread merging has been removed from iOS and Android. Yes, and now it's you're onto the future. Oh, look, there's actually a video about, I guess, why thread merging is a good thing. The great thread merge. That looks interesting. Happy to answer questions around all this stuff. To be clear, for those that are new here to the channel and haven't seen what we do before, and none of us work for Google. We're community people. However, we do work closely with the Google teams and stuff.
Yep.
So if you have any questions that we can't answer, we can always ask them.
We're on their speed dial, and they're on our speed dial.
This is something I want to play around with. You guys tried the new widget preview stuff? I haven't tried it yet.
No, I haven't. Let's do that for the live stuff. Can we do that?
So this notion that it almost feels like you're doing use cases like widget book, right? With this preview notion, and then you get to see the sample data and your widget previewed inside the IDE. I'm not sure how that works with hot reload or what exactly how it works. So I'm curious to try this out. But we've been talking about having this ability to be able to like design your layouts for your apps without actually having to run your app. That's always been a thing from day one of Flutter, and it's never really been a problem because a hot reload really kind of you're just editing live, so it's never really felt like it's been a big issue. And the people making it issue normally have been like they haven't really been using Flutter, but this actually does open things up, and I'm kind of curious about like what this might bring. I mean, like,
yeah. So if we can make it work during the live,
who knows?
Live coding. Yeah.
That's
we have some questions.
This was a good one. Preview extensibility. The preview annotation is no longer marked as final and now be extended to create custom previews, multi-preview support, and preview groups. I saw in here that there was some custom preview example I saw before, so I wouldn't mind checking that out at some point. Yeah, so deprecations of breaking changes.
Not breaking changes. Oh no. Can't break things. Please don't break things.
Right. Outro. Flutter 3.38 is focused on making your day-to-day development faster and more enjoyable. These enhancements aim to streamline the way you build. We're incredibly grateful for the hard work and feedback from every community member who contributed to this release. For a comprehensive list of all the changes, please check out the detailed breaking changes and release notes to get a free boost in your productivity. Simply run Flutter upgrade. Ooh, yeah. Right, there you go then. So, I guess we'll get back to our questions then. I guess unless you guys had something you wanted to particularly jump on there.
Well, I want to see the widget previews, so if we get to live coding, that would be fun to do.
Sure, and give it a go.
All right. Got questions, though. Shall we go? Madhan Kumar, something like that, 2248. Must have been 2,247 before them. Wow, that's weird. Okay. It's like when I want Merlin, and it says, suggest Merlin 98. And I go, what? I want to be the Merlin. That's why I'm real.
Merlin.
I'm really a Merlin, right? The question is, how can I trigger a button tap automatically after a few seconds with a ripple effect in Flutter, similar to how on tap works during integration testing?
How can I trigger a button tap automatically after a few seconds with a ripple effect in Flutter? You're basically saying you want to simulate a button tap in the UI.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's any way to do that, is there?
You can. I mean, you do the same way the testing framework does, which is just inject fake input events, right?
Oh, okay.
It's just like, yeah, because then what's going to happen is the ripple is going to come up. I'm thinking that you might be able to get the ripple to actually action. So you can like get the context. You can set a global key on the button, and then get its render object and send it direct events. Or you can create or you can get, again, the render object, get its position, and then send a global tap event down from the top level route to the widget tree, and it'll be processed as if it's like a normal tap from a user. We can certainly look into that, the specifics of it. I know it's possible to do. Yeah. I mean, put it on the list and we'll come back to it.
Alrighty, good enough. Dev 1876. Also, again, 875 of them before this one. Interesting. All right. For a video editor in Flutter, at a high level, how do you approach the feature of video zone with zoom, drag and drop items, layers, frame by frame editing, like stack an interactive view? You're asking for
Custom
the whole
widget.
design of your app. Yeah, build it. Let us know how it came out.
So I mean, you're saying like, how do you approach this feature? So what you want to be looking up is custom render objects, probably. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I know you're talking about. You're talking about like that area of like a video editor where you get to see the current frame, and then you can put like overlays and put text on top and move it around and all that kind of fun stuff. Which is just that. It is literally you've got, like you said, you've got a stack, you've got a bunch of widgets, and then you're creating a little bit of code around that to change the position of those widgets when they get dragged.
So I've built a video editor before, not in Flutter, unfortunately, in JavaScript at a previous company. And what I learned is that the actual UI of it is pretty easy. It's the state management. And if all the UI and everything is just very, very complicated, intricate state management. And so if you don't worry so much about the widgets and the this and the that, and focus on really getting your state management in a place that makes sense for your UI, and you're going to be able to accomplish what you want.
We recommend Signals at the moment.
That's right.
Signals. I actually think it would actually be really good for that, right? Like it's fine control and level of access. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's a package called Signals. I'll put a link in the chat.
And you'll end up with also probably a lot of composition where certain signals depend on combinations of other signals. So that'll be useful, which again, Signals handles that better than, I think, even better than Riverbot in terms of composing two signals to become a third. It's doable in Riverbot, but there's a lot of boilerplate involved with all the ref watches you have to have and things like that. But it's possible. Anyway,
first time I got to answer a question, Simon. I'm so excited.
Yeah, there you go. Well, welcome back. All right. Or continuation, or do you recommend a repository or something like that for the editor view? Tried to find the source code for Rive, but I can't find it. Is Rive's commercial, actually, right?
A repository or something similar for that editor view.
Yeah.
So Rive is closed source, so you can't find it. That's why you can't find it. The SDKs for the final, the resulting app are open source. I think if I remember rightly, the thing that dump into your apps that interpret the output of Rive, but Rive editor itself is closed source. That's their secret source. How do you recommend? I mean, again, it's that kind of a notion, as we're just saying, that you want to maintain your state, right? So this is something that is. So there's actually there's a period tree. I had this before, actually. I think this came. I might have been you speaking about this before, but someone came asking about how to make an editor. There's actually a pub package. There's actually it's really going to bug the hell out of me now. I can't remember what it's called. There's a mode. So I'm searching for the package. There's actually a structure in computer software engineering. We have like a map and a list and a linked list and blah blah blah. There's another structure of code, a structure of model, which is perfect for timeline based data like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the name is on the tip of my tongue. It's like a period tree or something like that. It's one of these things where it's actually good for calendar views. When you want to chop something up and you know when something's overlapping and it can deal with all of that. Oh, I'm gonna go nuts about this. This is annoying me now.
With your luck, you'll need it, and you'll end up writing it yourself, and then you go ahead and find the real package.
Yeah, this is exactly it. I'll end up literally trying to make it like. It's on the tip of my tongue. If I remember it, if I can find it, I'll keep thinking about it, and if I can find it, I'll pop it in the chat. It's best I can say right now. There is a Dart package for it. I know there is. I guess we'll move on then.
Okay. Yeah, it's like all the packages that Lucas Rangley has put into the Dart side. He's got tons and tons of algorithms and graphs and all sorts of cool stuff. He also wrote the Petty Parser, which is the sort of universal parser generator code stuff. And he's got some amazing stuff in the pub. And it's the kind of thing that I'd have to code by hand if I didn't know that package was already there that I could leverage from. So look for his stuff there. If you need to, I'll put a link to his author page in a minute as soon as I get done with this. Okay, next question then. Random EN 185. Again, were there 184 more ENs before you got to this name? I don't understand how only people have big numbers at the end of their name. I can understand if it's like a year.
They use the name.
Like if it's 1989 or something, like it's their birth year, that's fine.
I think that's a really bad idea. I mean, people use it all the time, right? I think it's a really bad idea.
Yeah, that's right. When do you recommend using the new Dart shorthands, and when should they be avoided? Oh boy, that's religious.
I think we kind of spoke. I alluded to that earlier, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can sort of answer this.
I think use it everywhere unless it looks bad, then don't use it. There you go.
I'm not sure I'm going to use the Dart new one. That one just looks a little weird.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't particularly like that one. And maybe it's because we've got a bit of maybe me and Grando have got a bit of PTSD from the original Dart 1 with the Dart new and everything.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Dart new is effectively the tear-off name now for the.
Yeah, I know, but do you remember I used to use new keyword everywhere, and it was very much the Java.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's like that's still a great detector if you're looking at a course in Dart. How old it is, because if it has new this, new that, what a mistake. All right, enough of that. I think we answered that kind of. All right. And Jeremiah High Five, Geronimo High Five, something like that. What can be some good tips to integrate Flutter with VS Code IDE under Linux? Well, Flutter with VS Code already has the Flutter plugin done by I forget his name, but good guy. Good, been doing that for a few years.
Yeah, I've just got his name as well.
I'm on his Discord. I shouldn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Tuppeny. There it is.
Tuppeny.
All right. Yes, Dan Tupp. Yeah. So that's been there for many years. Works really well. There are about a dozen other Flutter packages that I have recommended, Flutter-related kind of packages for VS Code. I'm sure if you Google for, what are your top 10 recommended, they're all going to center on like the typical 5 or 6 as well. Like I like Git Graph to kind of give me a nice open visual that's actionable on how the Git tree is coming together. I like CodeLens. I like the ones that move the error messages so they're sitting right alongside the actual line that they're affecting, that kind of stuff. So they're just most of the standard stuff for dev. I thought I did a video on that at one point, but I don't think I have it anywhere, or at least maybe it's in my list of videos to do, like my long list that I really should be getting through all the way. Anything else on that, Simon or Collie?
Sorry, I'm trying to find this package. It's really bad.
Some package on it.
Are they talking about just using Flutter with VS Code on a Linux, or building a Linux app, or
is this building? Is this building a Flutter? Is this building a Flutter plugin for VS Code?
Which I am currently doing. Yeah. I'm curious. A little more clarification on. I use Linux for everything that I do. I can't say I do anything all that special and different than installing it on a Mac and working With VS Code on the same extension, same everything. So yeah, some clarification on the question I think would be.
Yeah, feel free to follow up. We will be here. And Fred Umazy 42. Have you ever moved your projects? Have you moved your projects from CocoaPods to Swift Package Manager? I haven't written anything that was made with either one of those. I've used a lot of other people's packages.
I mean, if you have a obviously if you have a this goes out there to anyone. If you have a package that's a library that's on public div, you should be working towards getting Swift Package Manager compatible. There are pages on the Flutter website for it. I've not tried to move any of my apps to specifically using it. I don't think Dart. You can run. I think there's an experimental mode for it, if I remember rightly, to get Swift Package Manager only, but it's not ready in all plugins yet. I think there's still trying to push to try and get the top 100, 500, whatever it is, Flutter packages to use it, and then we can then kind of the apps can start making that migration to using it. But it's definitely something that I think everyone wants to do. CocoaPods is just bleh. Right.
Yes. Fragile. Definitely crazy stuff. Let me clean up little things here. Let's see. There's that. Oh, and the final one here. Okay. Oh, no, that was the one we just did. All right. So that's all the questions we have in the queue. So if you want to put a question in, you'll get it answered almost immediately because we're out of questions in the queue. So did you want to go back to that one question that you wanted me to save? The dot shorthands? Was that the one? No. Something earlier. Where'd that go?
I think it was one of the video ones.
Oh. No. Was you sure it was the video one? Like this one?
There's the one right after this one.
Okay. The repository one. That's right after that. Or do you mean even further down?
About the period tree. What was that? I don't know.
Interval tree.
Interval tree.
Oh, you found it?
There's enough of my googling around. Found exactly what I was looking for. It's called an interval tree. God damn.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah, there's a pub package for that actually. It's here we are. Okay. I moved it over to. Do you know what's really funny about this? I'm gonna share this. You're like, what? I completely. It's embarrassing. Hang on. You'll see why it's embarrassing in just a second. Who owns this package?
Oh no.
We own the package.
No wonder you know about this.
Yeah. So this was when did it 24 months, 2 years ago. Come on, it was 2 years ago. Give me a break. Yeah. So yeah, if you're dealing with so this was for the video editor. So, was it Dev? I can't remember who it was now. Dev.
1876.
Yeah. So this model of interval tree is that notion of having like intervals over. You can see here the very think your video editor now. When you see this on the bottom of the screen, right? You've got an interval that represents a slice of your timeline in your editor, and then you can have multiple slides all overlapping, and you can actually make queries about what is overlapping on this point in time. So this is the exact data model used for that type of data. So yeah, we actually have there's I've lost it now. There it is, interval tree. It is. I think it's still using dynamic. I think it's. I can't remember now. If I think I ported it. It was so long. It was 2 years ago. It doesn't look like it's one of those timer-based models, like a map, right? You create you create intervals. You give unions, intersections, and differences, and effectively you're making you make one interval and you're splitting up into more sections of intervals, right? So you'd have one interval for your entire timeline. Yeah, interval tree with all your different intervals in it. Yeah. So anyway, there's some pretty cool simple interactions you can do to actually get exactly what you're looking for. But this is it. This is the magic. So
5 years ago, I interviewed at Google, and one of the algorithmic questions was basically this. So this is hilarious and fascinating. The guy, at the time, really had no idea what he was asking me, but he was basically like, this is what he was asking me to build for.
Wow.
I had this. I've had this problem. I had this problem for a long time. I was trying to use it with binary trees and trying my own kind of stuff to make really optimal lookups for these kind of things. And it's very much a tree. So there's actually we say tree, T-R-E-E, but actually the computer science term tree is T-R-I-E. If those that don't know, you go look that up, and it is that kind of notion of doing more of a different types of tree memory. Anyway, we bother with that right now. Wow, I can't believe that took me way too long to find that. That took me way too long to find that. Anyway,
Just did it.
We did it. Yeah. Well, we were going to try something of the. We were going to try widget previews, right? And what else do we want to try? We want to try the new. We'll try out the new. See if I'm kind of wondering if we can try out the new. Shorthand stuff. Oh my god. Short enums, whatever you call them. Shorthands. That's it. Yeah.
Dot shorthand, right? I think it should be called Dart shorthand because it's only for Dart, really. So that'd be kind of cool.
Before we get into that, I have to pop. My hour is up.
Thank you for joining us, Kaylee.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I will see you.
See you next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Yep. And I've got to point out that's getting close to the twice a year or once a year where I have one little 1 foot by 3 foot window in my subterranean home here, and it just happens to line up with the sun during this show about a week a year. So it's just about to put me in the face. It'll be in my face the next week, I think. So it'll be crazy.
What do we? So we'll try. Let's make a list. Has anyone got any suggestions of what they want to see? So I'm thinking.
There's one more question. There's one more question that came in. When live code with Signal? Well, we did a bunch of live coding with Signal. When use it? How big should the state objects be? Block or notifier more atomic, like int and lists and etc. It's sort of seasoned to taste. I put everything into an object that's being managed by Signal that should if any component changes, should emit. Yeah. So it's at the emit level. What level granularity do you want to trigger on?
So for example, the reason why I said this for you, Dev, was that you've got this like editor view, and you have a lot of buttons, a lot of things. Each one of those would be a signal, right? Each one of those needs to emit an event that's unique to it, right? However, you might also have your state of your timeline being like an entire thing that has a signal, but you cannot have that. And it's the cool thing about signals. You can compose them together. So you can have a signal per track on your timeline, for example, and have one whole signal that's computed from all of them. So if any track changes, the entire timeline emits a change. So this allows you to compose your signals together into as fine or not fine-grained as required for your application, right? So you're talking about being atomic. You can have it on listen int if you like, if that's what you need to listen for. So if you just need to listen for if this integer has changed, then yeah, you would have a signal around it because you need to listen to that event, right? However, you can also, and I've done this myself, I've done auth of an application. There's a bunch of fields relating to that auth user or whatever. That's one thing I want to emit on my application. So I'm going to have it, that's more of a block level thing, right? Where you've got one state being emitted from like a component of your application. And that might contain many variables. And this is the cool thing. What's inside that state could also have signals on those things. So now you've got that composition. So now any one of those signals changes, it can emit the entire auth state for everything. You with me? And this is what I was saying about the notion of a signal is more fine-grained and you have more control over it. There's 4 basic methods They give you this ability to compose signals however is required for your particular states and management of your application. And there's also some great sort of debugging utilities, and Rody's even made, if you go to the Getting Started guide on the documentation is fantastic. The integration with Flutter is fantastic. I mean by the Flutter already existing Flutter classes. In the Getting Started guide, there's at the very bottom there's a link to an AI. What's the word?
Like a markdown dump, LLM.
Yeah, no. There's a name for it. AI teaching file, whatever you want to call it. The idea being that if you want to, you can give that to an AI and then say, okay, convert my app to use signals. And it's got all the context it needs to make those choices and understand it. Same goes for, let's say, you're just working with signals. You've got that whole thing that explains how signals work with examples to the AI. So system prompt, yeah. Thanks, Lane. Well, it's a prompt. It's like, yeah, it's that kind of notion of a styling prompt. So you can work with signals with AI without, and it's coming first party from the signals, from the developer of signals, right? Which means you're going to get the best knowledge. So
I have to say, I did an experiment with adding anti-gravity yesterday, and its new Gemini 3 Pro model in there super understood signals. It used signals precisely as I wanted it to do that in the Flutter app. And all I told it just get smart on signals, and it just got smart on signals and just did the right thing. It was really
just give it the URL to that. Give it the URL to that file and see if it could ingest it. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be it. Well, I think it's doing broader,
googly,
broader Google grounding. I think that's going to be one of the key things coming up, and I think it's thinking harder about all the nuances of what it's doing and trying to work those out ahead of time. It's I tell you, this is for the AI show, but I was building the same thing I built before from scratch with Gemini 2.5 using Gemini CLI, and it was so much easier to do it with anti-gravity and Gemini 3. I can't wait to use Gemini 3 more in the CLI stuff, because I think that's going to be night and day. And you can already get to Gemini CLI, Gemini 3.0 in that. So it's fun. I'll burn through some more of my credits. That's what it's going to be. Bye money. I'm just having fun. I'm just refactoring here.
Right. Right. So what we gonna work on here? So look.
Let's see. Not this. Let's hide that. There was the other one though, which was the this one also came up, but I'm going to tell you, this was what we did 3 weeks ago, right? So
coding on infinite list view that can start in a picked position in the list and now scrolling both ways. Yeah, we've done that. That's
3 weeks ago.
Check. So for those that want to see what we've done before, so obviously we've got the previous streams. There is a repository which we need to move to the Flutter community. Every time this comes up, I forget.
Yes.
Oh god, I forgot his name. My brain is not on.
Christian.
Yeah, Christian. One of our longtime viewers has been helping us index all of the streams, so you can find stuff. But equally, you can go get any of the code on my gists. So I'll pop that link in the chat. So there's every time we do a stream, if there's any live coding, the result of that live coding goes up, and a link to the very stream about when we actually do the live coding is in the description of the gist. So that way you kind of get the link back and forth and you can access everything. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to see if I can find
somewhere. Do you have Christian's link?
If you can find Christian's link, that'd be really helpful. I've lost it again. Do you know what? I think I linked
5,000 Dart and Flutter bookmarks here. So let's see if I can find it.
I think I know where it is. Hang on. Yeah, found it. It's on the Slack channel.
Oh, okay, good.
In the bookmarks of the Slack channel, where I would have put it if I'd saved it last time. So that's why I know.
Yes.
Right. Here it is. QA question. So this was. It's a little bit out of date. It's about apparently 4 months out of date at the moment. If there's someone else that I don't know, I haven't actually spoken to Christian in a while. So, but there's plenty of stuff on there, plenty of content on there. So, if you want something, there's wow. I just looked. Hang on, let me bring this up on stream. I just clicked on live coding. Here you go. Look,
Wow.
you want something? there's a lot of something there. There you go. And he's even linked the time code in the video and the code. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
He's also got a whole. Every time there's a river pod related question, here's every river pod related question that's ever come up.
Now we need a signals page.
So yeah, so I think that what would be nice is to keep extending this for every show that we've done, and then get on the website, right? We can build some. We should code that one. We should live code us coding the thing that's going to help everyone in the future.
Yeah,
bit of meta. We'll do a bit of meta.
On the AI show, we should do live coding of the thing that actually watches the show and does what Christian used to do for us.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun.
We could do it'd be nice to actually, and that's the kind of thing where you can actually make some AI that just downloads the transcripts.
Yep.
And works all that out. It knows the time codes. Anyway. Yep. Right. Let's get on with some
makes a notebook out of it, and then we can we can make summary audio tracks of all of our talk conversation with the two people.
What are we wanting to do then?
There was a reminder from Frey about the widget previews.
Widget previews. That was it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frey. So there's some documentation, wasn't there, around that? Let's see if so I'm going to do shorthands first because we're here.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get this. There we go. Let's get the banners. There we go. So I'm kind of curious. Does this I know that there's a so I'm pretty sure there's a Dart fix, right? Dart fix.
I don't know that there is.
Is it dry run? I think to get like a.
You test it that way. I don't think it's considered.
Oh, you know why? Hang on. I know why it's not doing it. I need to upgrade the version, don't I? The version has to be.
It has to be 310.
310 or greater of this, and 38.2 now. Actually, let's have a look at Flutter. I might be using 338.0. No, 338.1. Do I need to do an upgrade? Shouldn't need to do an upgrade. I'm not going to do it now. Take time off the stream. We'll do one. Power upgrade. That's okay. Interesting. What did I do? I did something wrong.
Don't know.
No. I think I've got the wrong one selected in here. Just give me 1 second. Yes, the ID is using the wrong one. Okay, apply. Back we go. Okay, try that again. Didn't want to do that. Whatever. Right. Well, there's a bunch of stuff in here from old code which I've not bothered updating. So maybe we could try to do the auto fix for that anyway. Let's see if we can maybe fit to current directory. Great. That doesn't really help, does it? Where did okay. Well, it's nice that it's found a bunch of stuff, but not what I want. Let's do Dart fix apply. Why not? What could go
but
wrong?
I don't think there's a lint that suggests whether you should or shouldn't use shortened links.
I know.
Or
I'm pretty sure they did actually release one. Look, that's not. I mean, that's not working. Why is that not working?
Oh, that's no good. This color is a weird one because it's also the MSP, the material state property color.
Oh no, because it's not a Nino, is it?
Yeah, it's not really not really
So
a single class.
let's try something else. We got to have like some rows or columns around here somewhere. Let's just choose a different file.
Or make any just red, green, blue.
Well, that worked. Yeah. So it's definitely in this version. What I thought there was a I'm pretty sure they said there was a Dart fix for it, and
It's
fine. I'm gonna find
it'll be documented as being one of the lints then, if there is. So wherever the lints are, Flutter Dev.
But then it would have popped up just now, right? So let's see what errors this is showing now. Issues. Okay, so we could quickly fix some of these things. Ignore them. Ooh.
There are no lints that have the word shorthand in them.
Oh, maybe this is a future thing. Maybe I miss.
Yeah, I think so. I think they said we're putting the feature in now, and eventually we're going to decide what the lints are going to look like. So that they weren't quite done with that yet.
All right. Well, then let's not. Well, just might as well just for those people that have seen this one, it's now with values alpha, right? So,
yeah, it's definitely not. It's not in the all linter rules page. There's nothing with the word shorthand in there, except the banner at the top. It says 310 is here, and it's got shorthands.
wow.
So no lint yet. So there's no quick fix either because.
Well, that's a shame. There's me hoping to, but look, it works, right? For the place that we needed it to work. So I'm going to open that last file up again in just a second. I'm just like, I'll leave these for another time. Let's not waste everyone's time. I'll change this to just filter to current file.
Oh, DCM has preferred returning shorthands already. So if you have a DCM setup, you could probably use it.
Yeah, so a bunch of these like main exercise .min. Is that valid? See, that just looks weird to me. It's valid though, apparently. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Const.all.
Ugh. That's just weird.
Yeah, see, that's why I probably wouldn't use it. Because to me, that's not indicative of what it. I don't know.
Well, in particular, this one that got brought up, which is the .new one. Look at that, just hanging out there like decoration .new. What kind of function
That's
is
why
that?
I think like the static constructors. See, I use constant global constants for these anyway. So this to me, most of my apps would be like all padding 8. So what I normally do is for this example, I would have a all padding 8 like this in one of my files, right?
Right.
And then use that in all these places. To me, that reads a lot easier when you read padding, all padding 8, and you're done, right? Like to me, I like that. And then you've also got one instance of this class that you're like reusing everywhere. So yeah, done. And then this file this just goes into one file that you include in everything. Nice and simple. I don't do it in the examples because it's not out of the box experience, which obviously makes things a bit more complicated. When we're doing examples for people, I have to include that in all the examples that I'm sending to people, which is not preferable. Yeah, I know. I'm like, let's just use it in a few places and to see what. Yeah, it's certainly like I think when it comes to like enums, sure, I'm all for that. That's kind of what I liked it for. But yeah, like here, obviously, that's not going to work because the red is an instance as a static member. It's not actually, a fixed set. Even though it's that type, it can't look it up automatically, right?
Oh, right.
I mean, they
Yeah.
could. There's a possibility they could add that in the future, but I definitely think that there's different types there of to here like max height. I wonder if I can do that dot infinity. Yeah, because dot infinity is see that's interesting. They must have special cases because that's a static constant just like the other one, right? That
No,
works.
the other one is because the type is both colors and material state property color.
Ah, I see what you're
So it
saying.
doesn't know which subtype to use for the expansion.
I don't. I think this. You start doing this everywhere. Obviously, it's going to look weird to begin with because we're not used to it. But then as we start to see that used more and more, it's the same what happened with null safety, right? Like things
Yep.
just did not look right with all the null safety stuff at first because of all of the what do you call it?
I still
There's all
freak
the new
out at
operators and everything else, right? Like I think it's just
Yep.
it's not what you expected from the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start seeing these layouts and then seeing without these.
Wow, so you could type new space dot new. Oh, that would be weird.
Huh?
You can. Can't you do that? Let's see, because you want the dot new be in the right.
No, I mean that
Yeah,
is it has to be a
can't.
type, right?
Yeah, no.
And the dot new is like deprecated, right? I mean but obviously you had to have a type, right? So this is inferring the type. So if you had something like a color, yeah, so if it had a color, you could do dot new and there you go. I could specify like maybe the values of color.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are.
Yep.
Oh,
But
it's
see, you
just
can
one
still
back.
put new in front of that. So I was going to say maybe new dot new is legal syntax.
Well,
That'd be
this would be something like this would be legal syntax, right? Like
yeah.
which I don't think that in that situation it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah. Because it's pretty implied with that type of, and you can always at least on the Mac hold down Option Command and it goes in the actual.
Yeah, that's what I
types.
do, right? Like here, I can just. Oh look, interesting. It was working on all the other ones, and it was working on the statics and various other ones. This worked on the name constructor before. I'm wondering why it doesn't work here. Maybe this is just like again. There's still a couple little bugs in it. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, all right, let's move on. We could sit here all day like twiddling with code and making it all.
Okay. Widget previews is the other
Widget
thing.
previews there. Let's do that. All right, new Dart file.
That looks like fun. Should be fun.
1119. So I've been using. So I'm wondering what the overlap is with Widget Book, because like Widget Book obviously is a hosted thing. It's web. It is different. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
equally, I'm kind of curious about the fact that it might have some sort of there might be some sort of.
Well, one of the things about Widget Book is you can centralize your library and have a way of viewing it and poking at it and talking about it. And then those can drop almost directly into your app as a separate like sub package. And I think the widget previews weren't designed to go that far. They're just to look at the particular custom widgets that you've built and play and tweak with. So I think it's a different use case, I think, but some overlap. You're right.
All right. So let's have a let me find that documentation. I have no. God, I'm trying to.
just have Gemini explain it to you. The Gemini Live say hello.
Experimental widget preview updates, IDE integration. Yeah. Where there is, I swear there's some documentation I was reading up about how to do it.
Sure, I saw it on the screen earlier. You were scrolling.
No, I'm looking at the article. Oh, getting started with widget previews. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Da, 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 da.
Yay!
Flutter widget previewer. And this website is in Jasper.
Hey,
this is one of the Jasper ones, isn't it? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Oh, cool.
View page source. I'm pretty. This is one of the Jasper ones. Main client Dart.js. Well, it's in Dart, so yes, probably. Right. So 338, 335 or higher, or IDE support requires 338 or higher. This is very experimental. Yep, we know that. We want to try it though. So okay, so there's a new widget preview icon, which I'm not seeing on here. No.
Yeah,
widget preview starts.
Yeah, free saying. I think it might overlap with the case where the developer's using Widgetbook to develop and test with different knobs, add-ons, and stuff like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, cool.
Okay. It says create a scaffold, finding previews. I have none. So let's do an example. So let's do this text and chuck it in there. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Wait a minute. What is all this? I've 0 previews, update previews. Oh, wow. It found it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem here is it tries to compile everything in my project, and there's a bunch of stuff that, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's like, wow. Yeah, that's weird. Well, it's experimental. Interesting. Can I actually? The problem here, I think I need to. Let me give me 1 second, chaps. Let me stop the share. Oh, there we go. I'm going to start a new project here, just so that we've not got any of the old code that might be causing some problems with the thingamabob. Give me 1 moment. You have to dance. You have to dance around on here too. You jig. Keep him happy.
Dance with Flutter. Dance with Dash. Just like I do backstage every show.
Flutter.
And people who come on the show know that it's true. I don't do it the whole time, but I do it at least a little bit. Just have to be able to say Dancing with Dash backstage.
Right. Let's see if this works. Just create whatever. TikTok. Oh, interesting. I now have a preview icon. Hang on. Let's do that.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
I'm getting there. I've got a new menu icon, widget preview. So let's replace all this with my previous example. And of course, that's the reason why it's messing up. But this is just every project. Just leave my commas alone. I'll never do to you. Okay, so let's try this again. What was the command? Flutter widget preview start. Sure. Actually, I'm doing this in command line.
You want the debugger to run
We launch a local server and open the widget preview environment in Chrome that automatically updates. Okay, so if you're doing a command, But actually, this is if you're not using the internal one in the IDE. So if I click on this on the IDE, it'll probably do the same thing. So this is going to show me, I guess, a preview in the IDE. Oh, let's have a look. What I've got is the hello world text. There you go, my sample text, hello world. And then this is giving me controls to zoom it, I guess, and change it, light mode, dark mode, whatever. Okay. And there's different layouts. Okay. So if I close that and then press this, I'm expecting the same thing, but now on the right-hand side. Let's see if it loads up. So this should show me my previews that we're just seeing. And whilst we're doing that, let's see if we can like, so another little example. So I can name group. You can do your own custom ones. Here we go.
Oh, something's flashing.
Yeah. It's basically loading a web page. Here we go. So it's the same content, right? But it's just inside here. So this is the this is default, right? So this must be the group, you reckon? So look, group, my group, save. Yeah, there you go. Change to my group. Sorry, it's a bit small.
It is a bit small.
I don't think I can change the size of everything inside of the browser in here. Doesn't react to the standard zoom controls. Right. Okay, so you can like override some of the default. You can like the default parameters on preview. So you can set like the brightness and the localization to a particular one, or the size of the widget. So, okay, and obviously, yeah, wrap this in. Oh, adding. Kind of boring at the moment. Not much we do about that. There you go. So there's a hello world.
Lane's got a gist of how he's been using widget previews. So,
sure, we take a look at that. Can be a little bit better than basic ABC, right?
You found that in the chat. You must have.
Example. Okay, let's take a look. This looks good. So let's copy this in. So what Lane has sent over is this preview size wrap device. So this is a custom preview. So this is that same thing here, the custom preview annotations. So you can have name, group, preview size, and then obviously you've got different themes, so you can change that. All right, so I'm thinking about if we can do like just have the default themes. Let's just disable that. Oops. It's enough for us to demo this and see. So if I put that on there, restart, save. So what we're saying here is you got preview size. Do I have to restart it? Reset, zoom in, zoom out. I mean, it's an interesting. I mean, I was expecting there to be. I guess. Oh, I see. I see what I'm saying. I would have to do in here under preview. Sorry, I see what's doing. Under here, I'd have to do size, preview size device. Oh, not size. Preview size device. There you go. I see. Yeah. Thanks. So okay. So now basically, this is setting the size of the builder. Okay, so Super Transform gives us a preview to builder. There's a preview builder.
Just use Build Runner to do the work, or is it just is it all the analyzer?
No, it's definitely using it's well, I ran it, right? I had to run that command, which means it is using a type of build runner thing in the background.
Oh, it's watching files, probably.
Yeah. It's got to definitely watch the files. So the wrapper here is actually providing that kind of, I'm going to wrap my widgets. So this is kind of helpful yeah, so if I get rid of, obviously put a padding around it to do that same thing inside the widget. This is very much the kind of idea of a use case, right? So inside of, for those that use widget book and things, you like set up use cases. So this is like a use case, but we can also use the preview as I think they're called add-ons in widget book. We're essentially like having the ability to sort of wrap it and do custom things with it. This is really helpful. I like this. So you got size, wrapper, scale factors. You can just override any of the parameters being passed in. The wrapper one is the helpful one because this means you can wrap any widget in any other widget, which gives you like this foundation that you can do. Size is another interesting one, of course. Rather than having that sort of default size, you can override it to a device. So yeah, in this case, if we had our text be wrap this in a center, wrap that in a card, we should have some sort of like, yeah. So now we've got like a centered card in our preview. Toggle that between, so maybe light mode would probably be. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, because we don't have themes. So if I put theme in here and just do the default light and dark themes from theme data. Just enough to kind of get this in and working. There we go. So now I can flip the theme between dark and light. And there's our card taking up that space. And then obviously you can zoom in and pan around. I kind of don't like the zoom. I think it's kind of useless, if I'm honest. I kind of expect the zoom to be one of more like changing the. I can see wanting to zoom in to see if some details correct, I guess, for development, right? But I think there's a notion here that I want to be able to resize this to be able to see how my widget reacts, be more responsive. So you could make your own little wrapper widget that wraps your previews.
Yeah.
Which I guess is interesting. And this down here on the bottom left looks like it's a view. So if we had multiple widgets, let's do another one here. Let's do another whatever and call it Randall Coolness. There you go. We have a material. Sure. Randall, there you go. Just multiple widgets here. It should. There we go. So now I've got the two widgets, and if I take this blue one and say it's wrap, save, there you go. I could put padding on that. So, and that's doing hot reload as well, which is nice. I'm not actually having to run the entire app. This thing is making a light app on top, which is what's generating in. There must be a dot in the .dart tool directory. There we go. Widget scaffold. So here is the app that is actually generating, which does all the wrapping, right? So this is what's the output of the runner, which does all the necessary bits to get this scaffold on the right hand side that you're seeing. And then our implementation is going to be somewhere in here. I guess this is just code. There'll be whatever it's generated based on our previews. Hey, let's have a look. See if I can find Randall Coolness in there somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Generated preview. Yeah, I knew it would be there somewhere. Where is it put? Source, generate preview. So here you go. So here's that generated. Here's generate code, which actually from the preview annotations, it's taken that information and put it into here, right? And then that generates this allows us to generate this here on the right hand side. Then we've got I guess a mode here of grid and list. which I'm assuming if I make this wider, okay, so that's because it hasn't got a size. So if I put a size on Randall here, was it? No, it wasn't a size. It was. I guess I could put a fixed size on it. Actually, hang on. Wrap this with size box. I wonder if this makes a difference. Width 200. Yay! There you go. Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, you can do like list or grid, and you can put them all in the same group. So you can hide the group and you can bring it together. This is quite handy. I like this. You can be working on a widget.
Yeah. A couple of notes came in.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Sorry, go on. Read that again.
Yeah, so Lane says, beware if you have widgets that rely on dependencies higher in the tree, you'll need to wrap your widgets with those in the preview.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that I think what I would say to me would be something I would do with my extension of preview would actually be put this wrapper in here. To be honest, I don't know if the default one actually has that. It does. Widget wrapper. There you go. So this is the way you would do it normally, right? So this is your use case, right? So you use the wrapper. I mean, let's do the other one instead of using dough wrapper. Let's just use normal. And I'll explain where this comes into it. So here, for example, we just saw this, right? In our app, we want to have our widget take up as much size as it needs to, right? Why is this? Because const. Wait, what? Under the concentration must have expressions. Yeah, but how is she going to supply a function? I have a static function? Is that what really?
Ick.
You
Back
really
to the days
want me to do
this?
This is nuts. This is going to have to change. This doesn't make any sense. Hang on. If that works, oh yeah, because it's got an underscore. Fine. Wrapper. Preview wrapper. Whatever. Okay, yeah. So that's nuts. So I get the idea of having it const, but this is a base class, so there should be no reason to require that. In fact, I mean, this shouldn't need to be const, right? No, didn't think so. So does that mean I feel like that's possibly one of those? That seems like a weird bug in Dart itself. Yeah. So if I had we'll do it now. If I do a class called my preview, whatever, and we're gonna just. I don't know what that's trying to do. Let's get rid of all that. Go away. We're gonna super over all of the parameters because we can. That's annoying. That'll do. I'm sure there's a better way, but it wasn't giving me the prediction, so I can't. Anyway.
So here's a confirmation. Yes, it's just an annotation. It should be a top level function or a static function.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious though. Hang on. Let's have a go. Let's do this. And will this complain if it's in line? I feel like you kind of want this to be in line. Yeah, see, you could do an instance of it, right? So if I had preview. So let's try this. Hang on, I'm kind of fine. We could do const Randall preview. You can't. And that's because of the function. I think they can solve that because I kind of feel like if you're doing you kind of want it in line. It kind of, I guess you can do it like. but it's just. It just feels like now there's just a lot more. What am I doing? Oh. Oops. So, I mean, there's base class. Yeah, I'm not happy with that necessarily, but so we don't need this. I was just trying to get around an issue with the thing. There you go. So it's saying that this has to be a top level / static. So this could be a inside a class, but then it has to be static within the class, right? We're working at a top level here, so whatever. And I'm defining a custom. Just showing you here how you can define like an instance of a annotation to use. If it was the same annotation at all, it probably wouldn't be. So we'd be doing this. But yeah, anyway, so we got this preview, right? And where we got the size 200, again, back to where I was trying to explain this to you guys. Let's put this one below that one. There we go. Just so it's organized the other way. And so, yeah, so size box 200, we put that in our wrapper in here, and not inside of our our widget that uses our function. I suppose if this is a widget use case function, then it wouldn't matter if your wrapper was in here. I guess this maybe comes back to what Lane was saying earlier, which is if, let's say, we've got some widgets in here that depend on, let's say, some providers or something, you could have like a function that injects those providers, right? So imagine you've got like your inherited widgets around here, and then you can then just inject a set of providers. You could even have this be, we can't have it be a function that returns a function because it has to be static. That's the annoying thing. So I feel like the wrapper has a limited scope. I mean, you might as well just stick them in here, right? That's the thing. You might as well stick in here and say provider, X or whatever, right? And actually have your wrappers, because this is a use case, right? So this is like preview use case for the Randall coolness widget, right? Whatever. Then you don't necessarily need the wrapper. But then what we're saying then is, let's say we had a widget called, this brings back in, Randall coolness, right? That is our blue widget with our text and whatever else we want. Where is it? Here. And what we're saying is this is our custom widget with whatever it needs, right? And what we're saying is that we want to be able to preview that widget, right? So we're returning that widget. But to preview, so in the app, we want this to fill its container or something, right? Constraint-wise. But in the preview view, we want to give it some fixed constraints. This is where this kind of wrapping comes in. I think just sticking it inside the function probably makes the most sense looking at this at the moment. I'm sure wrapper has, if you're going to have maybe, as Lane was doing down here, this Do preview, having some sort of like custom stuff you want to apply to all of your previews, then it probably makes sense rather than to do a wrapper, but to make one of these custom previews and use annotations and use that. But this works, right? So as you can see here on the right, it's limited in width. It's doing what we expect it to do. This kind of feels a bit weird. That I feel like Zoom should be making the preview bigger, right?
Yeah.
It has limited use if it's just going to size it bigger in here. If you're going to provide it like size of the widget and this is going to be this big, then I feel like it should scale up.
Yeah, you should be able to drag the widgets around. That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like this maybe is more like should be like more like an interactive viewer, and then even better if you can make connections between them, so you can maybe give some sort of semblance of not necessarily like navigation, but just logical understanding to the preview. Like this contains this or this links to that in some fashion. It might be helpful.
Yeah, it's not like we're trying to reinvent, Figma's live setup. That's a lot of work.
I'm not actually so Lane just said it's got to be more like compose previews. I'm not actually used compose previews, so I've got nothing to sort of benchmark it against there. But this is interesting. I think there's use cases. And who was it? Was in the chat earlier said, it's Frey. So it'd be interesting if we could use that to host a web app. Yeah, it's a good point. So here, this preview scaffold. There's no reason why you couldn't build that as a web app. It actually has web here, right? So this is a web app you see on the right hand side. So in theory, if we go in here and just go into Dart tool widget preview and then do Flutter build web, that should give us in fact, it's going to be overwriting the one that's probably using right now. Let's see if it actually, it might complain because it's using the files right now. Sorry, everyone, that's just this is building it. The build command. But in theory, then once that builds, there we go, it built successfully. So in here, in build web, this folder here, you could upload that to like a Firebase hosting or whatever, and you're going to get that same preview you saw on the right hand side that you interact with would be the one that you'd see on the hosting. So there is like this notion of maybe widget book-esque kind of idea. Interesting. All right, that covers two of the things we were talking about.
Yep.
Hands and previews. What are we doing on time? Maybe a few more minutes. Is there anything else that's come through in the chat that we want to chat about? Or?
Oh, there's one other question that has been asked repeatedly. So I said, stop asking it. Yes, we'll get to it eventually. So there we go. Flutter Dev Farm says, how do I implement SSL public key pinning in Flutter? Didn't find any article on it. Everyone just copy paste SSL certification, pinning, and implementation, but I don't want that. Any advice on key pinning?
All right. Everyone just copy and paste, but you just literally ask for a copy paste implementation. So let's have a think about this. So first of all, you try and do certificate pinning, and you're going to have what's the word? You need to have a. Does anyone understand what? First of all, do you understand what for those that don't know what certificate pinning actually is? Maybe that should be explained.
I think I know, but maybe you could.
So
maybe you could
the way thing. Well, I'll give a brief right now. So when you make a connection to a server, it's HTTPS. That's SSL. That's secure, right? SSL is the term that's secure socket layer. It's now gone out. Like it's not the same standard anymore. It's called TLS. TLS can be negotiated on top of an unsecure channel to make it secure, which makes it different from SSL. The terms are interchangeably used. Anyway, when you make one of these secure connections, there's a public-private key cryptography, and there's a Diffie-Hellman or other key exchange that takes place, which is how you can exchange your public-private keys and encrypt data for each other and have a private, secure connection. Okay, so that's the short way of explaining it. Anyway, the problem here is what happens is if someone's, let's say you're at let's say your app is being used with a secure connection. You're like, oh yeah, it's perfect. I can send credit card information. It's fine. No one's going to get hold of that. It's encrypted. Here's your problem. If let's say you're in a internet cafe or I don't know, coffee shop, and you're on some Wi-Fi. Now that Wi-Fi is not owned by you. You don't know what's on that Wi-Fi. They may be changing the DNS traffic to route to a local web server inside the router. It could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. And what happens is your requests now go a hop through that web server onto the destination. And what they do is they make a secure connection between you and that web server. Now your connection still is encrypted and secure, but then they're essentially decrypting it and they're re-encrypting that traffic to the final web server that it needs to go to. This is called a man-in-the-middle attack. It can only take place if your device, that is your application, allows the public root public key, the CA, that the man in the middle attacker is using. However, there are plenty of dodgy CAs around that issue certificates, or they've been hacked. Who knows? This is not rocket science. So the way banks and other secure apps protect against this is with certificate pinning. And what that is inside your app, when you ship your app, you ship the CA certificate that you expect the connection to use. This way, this is the certificate authority, CA, that issued your certificate for your web server. And this way, if someone's intercepting the traffic and re-encrypting it, and it wasn't issued with your CA, you could be like, no, bad. Now, even better, if you've got the money, you get an intermediate CA, or you can get a certificate that lets you issue your own certificate inside that, or whatever. You can also certificate pin to a particular certificate, but you need a way of updating that remotely because certificates do expire. You can obviously get a certificate for like 10 years, and it's maybe not so much of a problem. It's expensive. Free certificates are normally for like 3 months, I believe, 3 to 6 months. Like let's encrypt and stuff because that's short-lived nature. You would have to have an update here. Right. Anyway, the idea of certificate pinning is to stop that man in the middle attack, so you can make sure that it's guaranteed to be that person. So there is a way of doing that. I actually have done that in the past. Give me a second.
The function of the HTTP client, right? Can you add this?
Yeah, there is. So it's secure context.
Yeah.
I just wanted to explain it a bit better. And what I'm doing right now. It's not fine what I want.
We don't need this on the screen while we're answering that. There we go.
Bear with me one moment. My code was not indexed, so that'd be why.
Not indexed.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the way I've done it before. I mean, I'll show you the way I've done it before. I mean, it's not should we say rocket science. So let's see if I can get the Google one here. Hang on. Okay, let me share my screen. There we go. Oh, let's get us back on. So I'm on the Flutter website. I click on view the certificate. I've got the certificate here. I'm going to export that certificate onto my downloads, sure, whatever. And now if I grab that file, so a couple of things. So first of all, when you open up a certificate on Windows, you get some preview. There's also Get Info on Mac and some other places, but this shows you what its validity is. You can see all its signature and blah blah blah. You can do other things like just ship your your thumbprint, and then you could generate the thumbprint and compare it. There's a couple of different ways of doing that, but to be honest, the easiest way is just doing your CA pinning, which is what most people are doing. So if I say here, let's say CA pin .dart, whatever, we'll come back and do this like properly, right? So if I open up that CA file, you get a bunch of base 64 hex. This is your certificate bytes in text form. I'm going to copy that out of that certificate file, and we're going to chuck it into Dart. So say final my equals base 64 decode. All right, there we go. So what this is going to give me is effectively a global variable that when I first access it is going to give me the certificate in bytes, right? Now what we need is we want to use create a IO client, so something that uses this. So if you're using package HTTP or DO or whatever, you obviously have to choose the way you want to use it, right? So I'm just going to do HTTP, whatever, get the latest one, pubget. So we probably want something which is returns back a HTTP client and say pinned client, right? Or something, generate pin client, whatever. I'll post this code with the snippets for today, so people have got it. Why does this say I don't have the package? Oh, dev dependency. Oh, that's what I get for using all this bullshit. Right. So again. There we go. Right. So in here, we want to create a secure context. Oh, there you go. Yeah, the AI did it. This is what I'm going to do. So we set the trusted bytes that we want to trust on that certificate, and then we want to create our HTTP client with that secure context. Annoyingly, the HTTP one doesn't. You have to do it a different way. You have to create a override for it. Do you know what? I can't be bothered doing that in the example right now. There's a ton of ways of doing that. You can just do it with a standard HTTP client that's built in. There you go. Problem solved that way. Each package obviously going to have a different way that you need to supply this, so it kind of doesn't make any difference to how I'm going to do it here. But there you go. There's an example. So now what's going to happen is when I make a connection, I want to use this pin client. I don't know, make API call, whatever. We get our client, and then we make our request. Oh, look.
Filled it in.
It knows. It knows.
Flutter dev. I love it for the example.
So if I now have a void main, make the API call, run this in Dart, let's say. Oh, we got our first issue. All my characters. Wait, what?
It needs to be concatenated without all the new lines.
No, it doesn't. Oh,
sure?
no. I know what I need to do. Sorry, here you go. Tink. Yeah, problem solved. Get rid of any white space. There you go.
I told you that's what the problem was. You said no, and then I said yes.
No, I mean no. I know that was a problem. I mean, I'm not going to concatenate in here like as a manually connected.
Right. Sure. Yeah, I got it.
Interesting. So right now, failed trusting built-in roots. So yeah, apparently, what did I do wrong? Set trusting. Okay, so it's failing to call set certificate trusted certificate bytes. Oh no! I tell you what it is. I know what it is. I'm an idiot. That's what it is. Hang on. I know I did wrong. Let me fix that for everyone. So basically, I'm going to base 64 encode the certificate we downloaded. I took the certificate content and not the. So as I said earlier, when I showed you the certificate, it has this begin certificate and end certificate. That's how it knows. In a PEM format, this is a PEM format. You can have multiple certificates in one file because you have intermediate CAs. Anyway, so there we go. Save, run, and there you go. There's the contents of our web page, and the certificate penning worked. So in short,
what did you do?
Sorry? So I base 64 encoded the whole cert file, which includes the begin and end certificate headers, right?
Oh,
so I took this file and rebase 64 encoded it again. It's not ideal. You could do it.
Yeah.
You could do it other ways, right? Like again, if you've got those raw bytes, stick the raw bytes.
Base 64, in, right? It's only 4 bytes becomes 6 bytes, so it's not too bad.
It's a single certificate though, right? Like it's If I was doing megabytes, I'd be worried about that. But
sure.
The other side of this is instead of doing it in this format, you can put the raw bytes in there. You don't want to do an int array because integers are 64-bit in Dart. So you're going to be put into a situation which means that they're it'd be even larger than doing it in base 64, right? So probably do it this way. The other way of doing that is if you only got one certificate and not a pair, you could do what I did originally and then just add those headers in the code, right? So if I took what I'd had before, which is this, I could potentially well, in fact, there's another way of doing this, which is include this as a string if you wanted to. The problem with doing this as a string, I mean, ideally, what you'd actually do is encrypt this with some XOR, so it's not easy for someone to find, like if they're trying to reverse engineer your app, but or something else like that. Name your encryption, have a key in there, whatever. But the if I did this, then the other option here is to do this and then say code units and see if that should work as well. There you go, that worked. That saves the base 64 that Randall was just talking about, right? But the problem now is that the certificate is in plain text within your app. If someone wants to see if you've got a pin cert, they just search for begin certificate and boom, they found it in your app, right? Yep. So ideally, you want to encrypt this. So you could create a little Dart application to encrypt your string, and then you could put a little decryptor line in here or whatever that decrypts it before giving the bytes to trust certificate, right? Again, yeah, you name your the way you want to do it. But hopefully that helps. Did that answer your question? Who answered the question? I don't remember.
They didn't ask anything more, so that's good. I guess you're done.
I guess I'm done. I don't know what the examples are. Examples are probably something similar. I will put that as an example, I guess.
Sure.
There's obviously you can actually start. There's actually it's gonna bug me here. Hang on, let me do this. I'm gonna create this using a HTTP.client because that's what most people want. No one wants all that manual kind of HTTP and larky. So if I remember rightly, there's a IO client, right? Yeah. Yeah, IO client. And then you can give it a instance of your HTTP client. It's been a while. There we go. Remembered it. There we go. Yeah. And then with that, this becomes final response equals final await. It just does those lines for you, right? Like it's just an intermediate, right? But it means that you don't have to do it yourself. So run that. There's our HTML. Good. It's working. Oh, and we need to close our client. I'm not doing that. I should probably put that in there. Client close. That's why the console remains open. That should close immediately. Yeah, process finished. Cool. Yeah, so that's a slightly nicer one. But yeah, it's just a few lines. You know, there's nothing crazy really in here, right? Obviously, you can yeah, I mean, like you don't have to create. You obviously wouldn't make a client show me making an API call, but maybe it's more like this. Anyway, does that help? Does that
helps?
Let's do that in an example. I'll put that up on the GitHubs now. I think that kind of rolls us around to our 2-hour mark. Anything else you want to add or anything that we missed from the conversation?
I don't think so. All I want to say is it's my 64th birthday on Saturday, so I'm finally hitting that magic number. And so, of course, for the past year, I've been singing Beatles song when I'm 64. And I sang it last weekend in San Francisco and then last night here.
And you're now there.
I'll be a few more times locally. And I've got my family all coming in from the four corners of the world to celebrate my birthday with me on Saturday. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Long time coming. I'm all ones in binary right now. I'm a one followed by a bunch of zeros in a few days.
only programmers think of these things. I've been telling people all the time, but it's been great because sometimes
I give happy birthday notices to other people on Facebook. And if there are 48, I always say, wow, great number. That's either the 30 hex or 60 octal, which is one of the weird numbers that sort of works out for. So
Yeah.
I'm a nut. I'm crazy.
That's was it capital A in ASCII as well? 64, is it?
65 is capital A. 64 is @ sign.
@ sign, that's the
Yes,
one.
I've become the @ sign. Woohoo! I am the @ sign. Crazy stuff.
Right, let me get these samples up,
Right.
and then we'll wrap things up. So I'll put the sample up for the previews, and I'll also put a sample up for the certificate pinning. Hopefully that helps someone. Yeah, we could look at like the encryption side of that if people are interested. It's not, it's not rocket science. It's just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we covered enough.
Right.
So I will see everyone online after my birthday. I'll be older too. You'll be older too. Oh, there goes our copyright strike. Yep.
Oh no.
That's it. Fine. That's it. We're gonna get the show off the air.
That's it. Take us off the air. That's it.
Yeah. Are we getting close? You got the buttons pressed already? No,
hang on. I'm trying to get this posted up. Just the complicated they are.
Just the facts, man. Just the facts.
Facts, man. It's been like we're not using fax machines anymore.
Oh god.
Ages. Take ages.
Except they still do in some industries, which is just stupid.
Oh, don't. Oh, tragic.
Mostly financial. There's still.
I think everywhere over here now uses digital signatures for everything, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not even a problem.
I got my passport in my Apple Wallet now. My actual U.S. passport in there. Yeah, and I tried it at the airport last weekend, and their card reader was broken. So I'm gonna pull up my.
It's like when you want to use it, that's it. You can't use it. Yeah. All right. So the first example widget previews is up there, and then the second one's on its way. Certificate pinning, Babosh. And are we happy with that? Yes. Go. And here's the certificate pinning.
Oh.
So for those that know, they're on screen here, and they're also in the chat for anyone that's flying along. Thank you so much for everyone for coming along to the show, and we'll see you same time, same place next week.
Yep, next week is the day before Thanksgiving, but that shouldn't affect any more than the U.S. people. But no big deal. I can still come here before that. Okay. Anyway, all good. Bye.